So all your monitors in front of you are area lights. It's a square surface emitting light. So if I come over here and I can pick a light or I can change it. Area light right here. See how it looks like a square? And I can scale that to whatever shape I want. So you can see how this can represent a nice light where if you come in here and you say, I want to make a monitor. Imagine that's my monitor. Right? You just stick that right in front of your monitor and say, hey, you put a texture here that represents the screen. You stick that right in front of it. Boom. Instant light from from that source. And let's take a look. I'm going to take all of these lights and hide them. Control H. So it's only this one. It's rendering off screen. Oh, let's turn these two on. Control Shift H. And let's get it over to an angle. That's what it kind of did. There you go. Way too intense. 0.08. We can get down and dirty here on those numbers here. Whoa, that's still... Oh, wrong light. There we go. Area light. 1. There we go. Now let's drop that. See how that's starting to look like light from a monitor? Pretty easy to accomplish that when you have that right there. So that's what's happening there. You just put that light, boom. But look, if I bring an object in here, let's just bring this guy in here. Really makes some nice shadows. Something from an area light really gives some nice, awesome shadows for that. So what I typically do is, this is default just using a point light. So I'm going to bring that guy back. I will go in here, change that to an area light. But if I do that, you're going to see the problem. It's shooting off to one side, right? Here's a trick. You go down to, where is it? It's hiding. Give me a second. Mental ray. This is only a mental ray attribute. If you do not have mental ray turned on for your render settings, you do not get this menu. It does not show up. But we click down in here, use light shape. Turn that on, and we get different shapes. Rectangle, well, okay, we already get that. But there's a, if we go move this over, and go to 4, F, watch this. We can change that to a disc. We can change that to a sphere. Hey, that's looking pretty familiar. There's a cylinder. Ooh, wait a minute, a cylinder? What does that remind you of? a light source that looks like a cylinder. I wonder what that is. No, no, a fluorescent bulb. Right? So this can mimic fluorescent lighting. And then you got custom. So I'm just going to go back to a sphere and maybe bring that back to normal proportions. And let's back up a little bit here. Get this in the focus. And it's a little intense, so I'm going to have to play with some settings here. That's really intense. Holy cow. Let's take that down. And that down. Now we got to play with the settings until we get something that we like. All right. And it's still doing something funky. What is it doing? I think this is set way too low. Let's do 50. Yeah. We gotta play. You gotta play with it here. There you go. And then you gotta play with some of the attributes here, like samples. Now, what happens? Some of these settings in the shadows get overwrit. So sometimes these high samples, you got to crank this up a little bit to get better results. So think of this high samples as like the shadow rays now. So it gets a little bit more complicated. The other thing that you need to start to do to clean this up, so they come at a price. And to get them to look a little bit better, you also have to bring up the quality and start playing with unified sampling, and it usually gets a little bit better. So if like crank that up to 6. And we'll start getting rid of that noise. But as you can see, it comes at a price. It's cleaning up a little bit. It needs a little bit more. But you get the idea. So again, this is a good one if you want to just really intense. It's just like, got to find that happy medium. There we go. That's a little bit better on that lampshade. So what's up? So you kind of have to keep playing with that. But it really does nice on if you're trying to do, let's take this guy, duplicate it. I know you guys got some of this on your desks. Fluorescent light tends to be a little bit more, believe it or not, a little bit on the green side. Just as light green. And then shadows turned on. Let's take a look at that. Okay. It's looking good there. Stop it. 5. Right click. Look at that. I named my shaders. I know exactly which one to pick. Naming stuff, man. It's like the simplest thing in the world, but it just helps. There you go. Right? Pretty easy stuff. No, not really, but still gets a lot there. So again, these videos are going to be on Twitch. I'll eventually move them over to YouTube, but they should be on Twitch right now for you guys to take a look at. Kind of have to scrub through them a little bit to find what you want, but they're there. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to show you my cabin scene and how I lit that, so you get an idea. Because I was just showing you little examples here and there.